Is Newcastle International Motordrome, and of course it's a packed house for the running of the first World Team Sedan Series, bringing together not one American team but two, the visiting Gene Welsh Coca-Cola Pontiac Firebirds and of course Charlie Schwartz and his Camaro Outlaws. And competing against them this evening will be an Australian team, the national team led by Alan Butcher of Queensland, and of course Newcastle United, the home track team of Monzas that promises to give the Americans and the Australian team plenty of courage. There are the four cars to contest heat number one. On the inside in car 01, Jim Hopkinson of the United States. Outside of the front row in car number 2 is Graham Lilford of Newcastle. On the inside of row 2 in the Coca-Cola Pontiac number 4 is Johnny Pearson. And on the outside of the second row, Adrian Anderson, the member of the Australian test team. So we have one of the Camaro Outlaw team members off pole. On the outside of the front row, Graham Lilford of Newcastle United, Johnny Pearson of the United States on the inside of the second row, and forming up on the outside is Adrian Anderson, ready to take the green, and a beautiful start. Sees Lilford go straight from the outside down to the inside. Pearson right behind him, and Adrian Anderson's gone high on the fence, and here comes Pearson now down on the inside of Hopkinson. Hopkinson gets the short back and sides from Adrian Anderson, and the two cars wind around sideways. Hopkinson with the door sprung open, Adrian Anderson going up and over the top of the Camaro, and the red lights come on immediately. Trouble already. And just listen to the partisan home track crowd as Graham Lilford, Cowboy Graham Lilford in the Street and Strip Performance Monza, car number 2N next, pulls right up at the starting line. Okay, Graham Lilford of Newcastle United in the Chevy Monza number 2 tackles Johnny Pearson of the United States in 4 and Adrian Anderson of Australia in 6. Up for the start, down in the first turn, and it's Lilford going in on the inside of Johnny Pearson. Pearson and the Australian, the Newcastle driver, side by side going down the back straightaway. Pearson sends it in sideways and Lilford tries to send it in on the inside of him and gives him a nudge for good measure too and catches him on the back. But Pearson steamrolls away from them going down on the bottom turn. 1 lap completed, 3 remaining. Turn number 1 now off 2, high banking onto the back straighter one. Turn 4, the first heat is run and won with Johnny Pearson of the United States. Graham Lilford of Newcastle United in for second place and Adrian Anderson of the Australian team finishing in third. So first points and the first blood tonight drawn by Johnny Pearson of the United States. And there is the starting order for Heat 2. Giel in 25 from 1. Jackie Hewitt of the United States in the red Coca-Cola Pontiac in car 3 from position 2. And in the second row, the Australian team captain Alan Butcher in car number 83 from position 3. And Don Tilford of the Charlie Schwartz Camaro Outlaws, car 3 from position number 4. A favourable starting position, first time up for Hewitt. Giel, the home track expert, a man who's caused quite a number of surprises, the winner of the ACT Sedan Championship only 2 months ago. But they're racing, and immediately going into the lead is Jackie Hewitt of Troy, Ohio, but Giel goes straight through on the inside of him, and now it's Tilford who moves up on the inside of Giel going down the back straightaway. They've sorted themselves out well though. Here's Giel really going after Hewitt about mid-track, not badly positioned, but here's Hewitt leading them down the main straightaway. White flag out, 1 lap remaining. In third is Don Tilford, but it's all wheel spin down the straightaway for Tilford. And closing right up on Tilford is Alan Butcher. Back onto the main straightaway once again. Race leader about to come off turn 4, in good shape. Really rooster tail in the dirt. Here it comes. Checkered flag to Jackie Hewitt. Second to Paul Giel of Newcastle United. Don Tilford is to finish third, the Camaro Outlaws, and fourth is the Australian test team captain, Alan Butcher. Let's take a look at the formation of Heat 3. On the inside of the front row, we have Big Ed Wilbur, driving car number 2 for the Coca-Cola American team. Starting on the outside of the front row is a fellow who wants to win this desperately, and that's Charlie Schwartz, the captain of the rival team. So we have the two captains meeting in Heat number 3. Flashing yellow lights, the starter is ready, green flag behind him. Let's see if we're going to get a start. Yes, we are. Go, Charlie, go. And Schwartz sends it straight down into the first turn. Running about mid-track, perfectly positioned. Wilbur in second place. Don McEwen is third as they go down the back straightaway. Schwartz really sending the car in sideways, up high against the fence. Wilbur chasing him through the turn as they come onto the main straightaway. Schwartz with the breeze in his face and heads down into turn number 1. Looking good too. Wilbur not that far behind him, and back in third is Don McEwen. Fourth place is Fred Siri. White flag. 1 to go for Charlie Schwartz. Second place Ed Wilbur, and third is Don McEwen of Newcastle, and Fred Siri back in fourth. Well, they're not going to catch Charlie Schwartz. I don't think he's in any mood to settle for second best tonight. Off turn 4 now, checkered flag unfolds, and the taste of victory for Charlie Schwartz. Finishing in second place for the United States was Big Ed Wilbur, and third place for Newcastle United was Don McEwen. Well, the first win posted by a member of the rival outlaw American team, and a win going to Charlie Schwartz. Johnny Smith of Newcastle United from position 1. Gary Scott of the United States in car 1 from position 2. Car number 2 from the inside of the second row is Brian Norman for Australia, and on the outside of the back row in the grid will be Rodney Coombs in car number 2, although that could have been changed to Charlie Schwartz. So Schwartz is going to do a double up now. He's already won the preceding heat. He's going to put a stack of pressure now on Johnny Smith and Gary Scott. Here they come. Brian Norman into the side of Schwartz, coming down the straightaway. But the officials didn't like that one little bit. And the crowd were quite excited as Scott came off the outside straight down to the inside. They said, we're not terribly happy about that one. Let's do that one all over again. And I think Gary Scott of the United States, who starts outside of Johnny Smith, will have to get on the throttle very quickly. Smith up right against middle of the track. Down into the first turn. Schwartz moves up immediately on the inside of Gary Scott. And now zeroes in on Johnny Smith now from position 4, halfway down the back straightaway. Charlie Boy goes sailing in there as Brian Norman attacks car number 1, Gary Scott, and moves him out of the way onto the main straightaway. Off turn 4 now, the white flag about to be unfurled, and it is. Charlie Schwartz doing a great job out in front. In second place is Johnny Smith, then followed through by Brian Norman in car number 2, and Gary Scott coming hounding down the back straight away on his tail, but they're not going to change the outcome because here comes the winner and the leader. Scott goes straight into the side of Norman as they come off the final turn and takes third place too. So a little bit of feeling in there for third place. He got the lean on him from Brian Norman in the opening lap of the race and returned the favour in the closing lap of the race. But it didn't make any difference to the race winner though. Charlie Schwartz, that's 2 from 2 and in good shape. Second place will go to Johnny Smith from Newcastle United, and third across the line was Gary Scott of the United States. So a good one to Charlie Schwartz, 2 out of 2, and the fastest time tonight, 1 minute 11.15 seconds. The final heat is going to come up, and it is going to bring together Gary Scott of the Gene Welsh Coca-Cola American team in his Pontiac Firebird, car number 1. Of position number 1, Alan Butcher of Australia, car number 83 from position 2. Graham Lilford of Newcastle in car number 2 from 3. And Charlie Schwartz, who I think may have taken his full number of drives. We'll wait and see. Charlie Schwartz coming up now in car number 1, and he'll be starting from position number 4. So there's a big dice here between Newcastle United and the second American team, the white Camaro team, because at the moment Newcastle have taken a 1-point advantage over the second American team. Now, Graham Lilford moves up now in car number 2, and he's the man a lot is going to rest on for a solid scoring position in this particular race. As they move onto the back straightaway, Alan Butcher, the Australian team captain, is going to have to get off the mark extremely quick because Schwartz is in no mood to want to be beaten here. He has to beat Lilford, and I think he has to put another car between himself and Lilford to absolutely lock up the 4-car series in the short heat races. Round to the start. Looks like a pretty good start. Yes, they're racing. Down in the first corner. And it's Gary Scott with Alan Butcher going up very smartly indeed. Charlie Schwartz right behind him as they move down the back straightaway. And Schwartz straight round the outside of Butcher as though he'd selected reverse gear. Butcher can't do a thing to race him because Schwartz is just coming in and zeroing in now on Gary Scott down to the bottom corner. Schwartz and Scott, the two number ones, the red number one Pontiac, and here's Charlie working away the inside as they get halfway down the back straightaway into the top corner. Charlie and Gary Scott side by side as they come off the turn now onto the main straightaway. Schwartz has not been beaten tonight, and Scott wants to make sure he's the man who puts the dent in him. Schwartz goes in sideways, now tries to pull up the inside as they move onto the back straightaway. Side by side as they go down the back straightaway into the top corner, and he leans on Gary Scott, but Scott and Schwartz are going to race this out side by side on the main straightaway once again. White flag out with 1 lap to go, and I think Schwartz will have him, and he parks him straight out into the wall. But he gets going! Scott gets going and brings on the yellow lights as Schwartz spins, and the yellow lights and the yellow flags come out, so I have a feeling that maybe poor Charlie, who looked as though he was going to be met with a good shot for a win, may now have to go back to the rear of the field. Charlie Schwartz being told he will start off the back, and in 2 laps that should be just sufficient to get Charlie Stander up to say he can still win it off the back in 2 laps. See what happens now if Alan Butcher moves up. No flies on Graham Lilford. Said he'll allow Butcher and Charlie to make their own arrangements. And I think we'll find that Charlie Schwartz will really get off the planet in this restart. Butcher was attempting to move up to start from the second row. Lilford wants a shot at Scott on the outside of the front row unless they start single file, which I think they probably will. We'll wait and see. So Alan Butcher just closes it up single file. That leaves Charlie with plenty of door handles and no cupboard to get into. Okay, Lilford's been caught unawares here. Here they come onto the straightaway. Lilford and Schwartz. Schwartz sends his car in sideways into the bottom corner, and Lilford is side by side with him as they move onto the back straightaway. Just watch Schwartz go. 1.5 laps to go. Butcher holding the inside line, but now switches to the outside. That forced him to back off for a moment. Gary Scott has the lead with 1 lap remaining. Schwartz has managed to get rid of the rest of them, and now Scott's floundering out in front as they move onto the back straightaway for the last thing. And look at Schwartz coming in like gangbusters. Last corner comes up, and that's Gary Scott and the Coca-Cola Pontiac who comes off to go on and win. And Scott wins it. Schwartz is second, Lilford is third, and Alan Butcher is fourth. And a great finish there from Charlie Schwartz. A great finish to come back off the back of the field and finish in second place. McEwen finishing, or Lilford rather, finishing in third, and fourth place to Alan Butcher. So some pretty heart-stopping sort of racing there from Charlie Schwartz, who just thrives on a bit of this wheel-to-wheel competition. So with only the 25 or the 20 lapper remaining to sort out the final points, and keeping in mind a win is worth 9, second is worth 8 in the final, so the series is far from over. But looking at the final point scores as we go into the 20 lap final, the Coca-Cola Pontiac team is leading now on 43 points over Newcastle United on 27, then 1 point away in third is Charlie Schwartz's Camaro Outlaws on 26, and Australia, Fred Seary, half the Camaro score, 13, and in last place. So 43 to 26, it would seem at this stage, unless the drivers and the Gene Walsh Pontiac team take a bait before the start, they won't be beaten, providing all 4 cars start and all 4 finish.